Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka GLauren33. I am back here tonight with your SmackDown review for January 8th, 2020. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on the Legit Shoot podcast. Hopefully you guys are doing well, man. It's our second SmackDown review of the new year. Let me know in the comment section or in the chat how's your new year going so far. How's those resolutions, right? I know it's been a controversial week, especially with what happened earlier this week in Washington at the Capitol, man. Crazy stuff, but I'm praying for all of y'all. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. Don't go doing dumb stuff like those people did, man. But yes, this is a SmackDown review. Just letting you guys know, this could be a little bit shorter of a review, just because, not too much happened on the SmackDown tonight, right? We do have new tag team champions, which we'll talk about shortly. And then also the big thing was what was happening with Roman Reigns and Adam Pearce. We have a new number one contender for the Universal Championship, and it is controversial. Adam Pearce is the new number one contender, and no one expected that, right? They announced earlier into the day that there would be a gauntlet match to determine who would be the new number one contender. And, I was nervous just like everyone else, because I thought they were going to give us Daniel Bryan. And you guys know I've been very big on Daniel Bryan being the one who should win the Royal Rumble, and also being the guy who should face Roman at WrestleMania in the main event for the Universal Championship, right? Outside of The Rock, there's no other better number one contender. The story's there, everything. So, and I was scared that WWE was going to change their plans and give us Daniel Bryan versus Roman at the Rumble by having Bryan win this gauntlet match tonight, right? If you guys remember, a couple months ago, that was the rumored match for the Royal Rumble. So I was nervous, but it does look like WWE's, staying away from that. And like I said, I'm gonna say this right now. We're not getting Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. That's not a match. We all know that. Adam Pearce no longer competes, right? He hasn't wrestled in more than 6 years. He's a WWE authority figure now. That's what he is. And everyone knows you can't make a story out of that match no matter what. WWE is not stupid enough to make that kind of mistake. This is clearly going to most likely lead to another match with Kevin Owens, right? Kevin Owens, the story there is he's been written off the TV based off the brutal attack that Roman and Jey Uso gave him last week. But clearly, I think this is all setting up for KO to be the one to get one more final match with Roman at the Royal Rumble, right? I don't see KO winning the title, of course, but that's where I believe the story is going. You know what I mean? So, guys, especially for the cows out there being like, oh, we're getting Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce at the Rumble. No, we're not. WWE's not that dumb. We know WWE makes stupid decisions all the time, but SmackDown has been pretty consistent, with the good shows the last couple of weeks. Tonight was a decent show. It wasn't perfect or anything like that. The strength of tonight's show clearly was the in-ring action, right? With the IC title match, the tag team title match, and the gauntlet match. Lots of in-ring action, but it wasn't a bad show. I am a little disappointed, of course. We didn't get to see the GOAT herself, Sasha Banks. She was not on the show tonight. I don't know why. I guess they wanted to give more time towards the gauntlet match, and right now, it does look like we are getting Sasha versus Carmella at the Rumble. Nothing's confirmed right now, of course, but I think that's where we're heading. Carmella did give a short promo on Sasha, and I think, they're going to go wrap up that feud most likely at the Rumble. So, yeah, SmackDown wasn't a bad show tonight. We'll go over it like we always do, and yeah, that's the big thing. All right, really quick, you guys, if you guys are new to the channel, right, as always, I got to let you guys know, subscribe, right, subscribe and enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video, right? If you guys missed my Monday Night Raw review, right, you guys missed, already probably my best rant of 2021. We'll just have to see if we outdo ourselves, as we go through the course of this year, God willing, right? I went on an epic 20-minute rant about Goldberg challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at the Rumble, right? And I'm going to be honest, part of what happened with Goldberg on Monday kind of concerned me for tonight's SmackDown because I was thinking if Daniel Bryan had won the Gauntlet match tonight, and they had given us the Bryan versus Roman match at the Rumble, that would tell us that we are most likely gonna get Goldberg, versus Roman, right? Because I don't see Goldberg being Drew McIntyre at the Rumble, but I would not be surprised if they do it, right? Because we said that last year about Goldberg and The Fiend, and we all know that Goldberg defeated The Fiend in 3 minutes in what was probably the worst creative decision all year from WWE. Huge blunder on their part, and we know that they want to do that Goldberg versus Roman match. And I still think there's a chance because, Goldberg has to have his stupid 2 matches a year per his contract. So I would not be surprised if we get Roman versus Goldberg at some time this year. I'm just hoping it's not at Mania, If they want to do Roman versus Goldberg, no title should be on the line. Do it at SummerSlam, non-title, whatever, right? But Goldberg should never be in any championship match again. And I don't want to talk about Goldberg anymore. I'm just going to leave it at that because this is not Raw. We'll deal with Goldberg and that Drew McIntyre garbage on Mondays, And it sucks that I even have to talk about Goldberg on the road to the Royal Rumble because, you never know. Goldberg... even if Goldberg loses to Drew McIntyre like he should, there's still a chance Goldberg could be in the Royal Rumble. You never know with this company. Remember a couple years ago with Roman lost to Kevin Owens at the 2017 Royal Rumble, and he was in the main event in the Royal Rumble at the end of the night at number 30. Like I said, you never know with this company. So it's going to be something we got to keep our eyes on. And like I said, we're going to be talking about it every week. All right. But, getting the SmackDown tonight, I'm going to actually start with the woman, because nothing really happened. Well, I'm not going to say nothing really happened, but, there was really no big woman segments tonight. So I'm going to talk about the woman, and then we're going to go straight through with the men who dominated tonight's show. So, like I said, Sasha was not on the show tonight, unfortunately. I know you guys are just as sad as I am, the best in the world. Sasha was at the Thunderdome for SmackDown tonight, right? She wasn't injured or anything. It's just, I guess they just didn't have anything for her because they gave most of the second hour of SmackDown to the Gauntlet match, And it kind of sucks because if you look at it, Sasha and Carmella have been in the top-rated segments of SmackDown the last couple of months, mainly because Sasha's the best in the world, right? And they had nothing for them on tonight's show. Carmella gave like a short 90-second promo talking about why, she's better than Sasha, even though we all know that's not true. This is just her character talking, right? And she was talking about how she pinned Sasha in that tag team match last week. Clearly we're getting another match between Sasha and Carmella, right? And we'll have to see if it's going to take place at the Rumble or if it's going to take place in the next 3 weeks because we still have 3 SmackDowns before we get to the Royal Rumble. But Carmella gave a short promo, and then WWE, they showed like a 30-second thing, because if you guys didn't know, Sports Illustrated, they put up their, their top 10 wrestlers of 2020, and guess who was number 1? It wasn't Roman Reigns, it wasn't Drew McIntyre, it was Sasha Banks, right? And this was for all of wrestling. So I'm talking WWE, AEW, all those companies. Sasha was ahead of all of them. Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, and I agree with the list. And you guys know, yes, I can be a little biased because you guys know how much I love Sasha. But, I've been saying this for months now. Sasha has been the number one, star in WWE. She's been the number 1 person on SmackDown outside of Roman Reigns. She was the MVP for the company during this pandemic. What's her storyline with Bayley, the matches she did with people like Bayley, like Carmella, like Asuka, right? The list goes on and on. Sasha was the number 1 wrestler in all of pro wrestling, if you ask me. All right, I feel like that's undisputed, and I'm happy that people are finally noticing that. You don't know how big that is for Sasha to be put as the number one wrestler, in the entire world. That's men and women, right? So there were some people like AEW stans, that were unhappy about Sasha being number 1. And, they're just a bunch of casual idiots. If you have any knowledge, you know that Sasha was one of, if not the best wrestler in the entire world last year with the body of work that she put in. So really, that's all I'm going to say about that. I did like how WWE did mention that. It did kind of piss me off because, they mentioned how Sasha was number 1 in that list for Sports Illustrated. but they didn't mention, at all how Sasha was on the Mandalorian, right? Like, why couldn't they do something like that? A short 30 seconds, of Michael Cole just talk about, hey, go watch WWE Superstar, go watch SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks as Koska Reeves in season 2 of the Mandalorian of the Star Wars franchise on Disney Plus. Something simple like that, So it kind of bothers me, but like, at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? Happy for Sasha. I'm happy that she got that recognition, right? It's good to see people finally recognizing that she is the best in the world. I don't really need to say anything else. But yeah. Also, in terms of the woman, Bianca Belair and Bayley, they both declared themselves into the 2021 Royal Rumble match. We both know both of those women are two favorites, right? If I had to pick the favorites right now, it's Bayley, it's Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, right? Rhea Ripley is finally being called up to the main roster. I read that. I read that in the IWGP article earlier today. And we all knew that was coming. It's just going to be interesting to see if Ripley's put on Raw or SmackDown. And I was maybe Alexa Bliss. Those are really your big four favorites, right? One of those four is going to win the Rumble. It could, right now, you can make a case for each one of those. I don't know who's going to win it, right? I feel like it's going to be either Bayley or Bianca, but those four are the favorites because one of those are going to face against Sasha at WrestleMania, unless they choose to do a triple threat with, Sasha, Bayley, and Bianca Belair. And they could also go the outside chance of doing Sasha versus Rhea Ripley. But I feel like it's way more likely, of course, for Bayley or Bianca Belair, if not both of them, to be challenging Sasha at Mania. So, yeah, they had a quick, short segment, declaring themselves into the Royal Rumble. So we'll see how that happens because we know Bianca and Bayley are continuing their feud, over on SmackDown. Also, last thing for the women, they've been doing this kind of side funny storyline with Billie Kay and the Riot Squad. So, like, I guess Billie Kay fake cried her way into joining the Riot Squad tonight. I don't know what's happening with that, but it is, good to see that they have these little side stories for the women who are not in the main championship picture with Sasha right now. I do like that. And I forgot to mention Sonya Deville, right? Sonya Deville, she was in a suit tonight, and I guess she's like the assistant now to Adam Pearce. She did talk about how, it did kind of hurt how she lost to Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose at SummerSlam, and all that time she had to spend away, and now Mandy Rose being on Raw and now in a new tag team and all that. So I did like how, they did try to insult our intelligence, and Sonya actually mentioned all that had happened while she was gone. But at least it looks like for now, right, she's going to be in this side, this this managerial role under Adam Pearce. I think what this is most likely leading to is Sonya is eventually going to spend a little bit of time in this role, and eventually she might attack Sasha, she might attack Bianca, right? She'll attack somebody because we all know Sonya's she's a good heel at the end of the day. I've never seen a babyface Sonya, but Sonya is a heel at the end of the day, and I think she'll attack one of those two ladies, and then that will put her into the SmackDown Women's Championship picture where she should be, right? I feel like Sonya has the chance to really break out and become a huge star for the SmackDown Women's division this year, if booked correctly. And it's way better that she's on SmackDown because at least SmackDown is being more consistent, and they seem to know what they're actually doing right now. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But finally getting to SmackDown, into the main show tonight, right? The show started off with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso coming out. I will say this, right? Roman has carried SmackDown alongside Sasha Banks, but I am getting a little bit tired of them doing the same thing every single week. Roman starts the show every week. And yes, in the past I've said your champion should be starting the show. But you don't have to do the same thing week in and week out. I like Roman. I love what he's been doing, right? He's clearly been the big guy on SmackDown along with Sasha Banks. We all know this. But, you don't have to do the same thing, having him come out and give a promo every week to start the show, right? Some weeks you can have Sasha start the show. Some weeks you can have the Intercontinental Championship start the show. You want to start the show with a bang. And we know Roman is that guy. But when you do the same thing every single week, it becomes, a little bit redundant. And when you don't want to get that, SmackDown is in a pretty good state. They've been very consistent with these shows every single week. And I want them to continue with that because clearly they are a much better show than Monday Night Raw. SmackDown right now is kind of giving me those 2016, post-draft vibes. They've been really consistent as of late, and they need to keep that going because Raw is a mess. Raw is absolutely horrific. And I don't want SmackDown to do that. And plus, once Seth Rollins comes back to, SmackDown, if they continue building up the mid-card, if, Becky Lynch, when Becky Lynch comes back, right, if she's on SmackDown, since, her fiance Seth is there, SmackDown's just going to get better and better and better. So I want them to stay consistent. Don't fall into these little trends like they do with Monday Night Raw, right? Roman doesn't need to start the show every single week. We know how important Roman is to the show, but don't do it every single week to the point where it gets like boring and we're just like, Roman starting the show again. Like, really, like, don't do that. But this was a good way to start the show. It wasn't bad. Roman came out and basically he explained why it's not his fault that Kevin Owens isn't there, because you guys remember last week Roman did have a brutal attack on Kevin Owens at the end of the show, and that was supposed to be the explanation for KO not being there this week. Roman said that the blame was to fall on Adam Pearce, right? Adam Pearce came out to the ring. They showed a clip of Adam Pearce and KO talking from last week where Adam Pearce gave KO that match with Jey Uso in the main event, And then Adam Pearce was like, what do you want me to say? Right? What am I supposed to say? And Roman was like, what are you supposed to say? And Roman was like, I want you to be a man, right? Like, stop with this nonsense. Roman said that last week. I said that I'm done with Kevin Owens. I'm moving on. But instead, you dragged me back into this mess with KO. And that was Roman's explanation. Roman put the blame on Adam Pearce for Roman and Jey Uso attacking KO last week at the end of the show. So, yeah, Roman said he's a good guy here, all right, and you're the bad guy. So then Roman got mad at Adam Pearce because he blamed Adam Pearce also for the gauntlet match, right? Roman believes that he shouldn't have to, watch a gauntlet match. A gauntlet match to, determine who would be his opponent at the Rumble. Roman believes that as the guy who's carried WWE for all these years, he should be respected enough that he gets to choose his opponent, right? If I was Adam Pearce, I would have asked Roman right there, who would you choose to face you at the Rumble if I gave you that choice? And I feel personally Roman would have probably, given that opportunity to Jey Uso, right? That's just the way I see it. But, Roman said, yes, I should be the one, choosing who I face. Adam Pearce said, I'm just doing this gauntlet match to give you the best challengers possible, and then Roman started getting offended, right? Roman talked about, hey, why don't you put yourself into the gauntlet match tonight? Adam Pearce like, no. I can't be the referee, nonetheless the Universal Champion. So, yeah, that's the match. Or that's what Adam Pearce said. And then Roman was like, are you insulting me? Right? So then Roman went on this whole spiel about, do you feel like I'm stupid? Or are you stupid? He kept saying, do you think Fitz McMahon is stupid? All this stuff. So, yeah. And then Adam Pearce was kind of thinking what I was thinking. I was like, wait, where is this segment going? Right? And Roman, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso, well, mainly Roman, right? Roman teased taking out Adam Pearce. Paul said that clearly would not be a good idea because, Adam Pearce is a, official, right? He's a WWE official, not an active competitor. So that would be a lot of trouble. Because they brought up what happened with Braun Strowman. Remember, Braun Strowman put his hands on Adam Pearce. That was just supposed to write Braun Strowman off TV because he's injured right now. But, you're not supposed to, touch a WWE official, right? So, Paul was able to convince Roman not to make the move. And then we saw Roman and company leave the ring. Roman did say before, like, I don't think anybody's stupid's in this ring, and that would set the stage for later on in the night, right? Later on in the night, Paul Heyman confronted Adam Pearce and basically said that Heyman was able to pull some strings and, basically manipulating Adam Pearce by convincing him that by him being in the gauntlet match tonight, it would give him a chance to, relive his dreams, the dreams that he didn't get to accomplish, years ago when he was a wrestler, So Heyman revealed that Heyman revealed that Adam Pearce would be in the gauntlet match tonight, right? And clearly, you could kind of see where they were going with this, because, like I said, when they first announced the gauntlet match, if you look at it, it's kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing. Outside of Daniel Bryan, who could legitimately be a challenger for Roman Reigns, right? Out of all those guys, who can legit be a challenger? None of them have been booked correctly outside of Daniel Bryan. Not Rey Mysterio, who, let's not talk about Baron Corbin, right? Nakamura's been in a tag team, I forgot who else was in that match tonight, but you guys get the point. Nobody really in that match had been booked correctly to be in the Universal title picture outside of Daniel Bryan, and we were all concerned that they're gonna give us Bryan versus Roman at the Rumble instead of WrestleMania like we should be getting. But luckily they chose not to go down that path, which we'll talk about in a little bit, right? Especially when by the time they had said that Adam Pearce would be in the match tonight, you could kind of see where they were going with this. But getting into some of the other matches tonight, right? There was two championship matches booked tonight for SmackDown, and the first one was the IC title match between Big E Langston and Apollo Crews, right? Big E said last week when talking to Caleb Braxton that he would do a open challenge this week, and Apollo Crews accepted the open challenge before even Big E making the official challenge, because the challenge was set for this week, So what happened here is basically, I thought this match was going to be like interrupted by Sami Zayn or Baron Corbin, right? We know Sami Zayn, he's still mad about losing his IC championship match, or his IC title in that Intercontinental championship match. I forget what it's called, the match where you have everybody around the ring. I'm forgetting what it's called. The lumberjack match. There it is. But yeah, So they made the match tonight, and Big E and Apollo, they have good chemistry. Right? Like I said, I love seeing the African American WWE superstars getting big stages to shine on. This was a good match. It was competitive, between two friends. The big thing here is, while we were at commercial break, right, there was a superplex spot. So the people in the Thunderdome got to see this, not the people on TV, but they showed a replay after commercial. Apollo did a superplex on Big E, and, basically Apollo had Big E pinned. But the thing about it is, Big E's shoulders were off the mat. So the 1, 2, 3 was counted, but Big E's shoulders were off the mat, so it wasn't a valid pin. So after that, right, Apollo was very angry because he's like, no, I won the championship. And then, Apollo and Big E are going back and forth. Like, Big E is like, was trying to give Apollo a fist pump. Like, I know this is not the way you want the match to end, but, still good stuff. We'll have to do this again. Apollo was like, you want to go out like that? Really? And then Apollo kept getting more and more frustrated, right? And he's like, nah, I'm not taking that. Give me the title. I won that. Even though clearly Big E's shoulders were off the mat. So Apollo he bitch slapped Big E, and Big E got very angry, of course. Apollo's like, nah, I ain't taking that, and he just slaps the hell out of Big E. So Big E gives his belt back to the referee, and he asks us to restart the match. So then Big E, we get the much more aggressive Big E, right? And I like when we get this. Big E, he's not, at least now, he's no longer as comedic as he was before when he was in the New Day, right? He still makes jokes and stuff like that, but he knows how to get serious, and he was very serious and angry here with Apollo. So clearly, Biggie, took out the aggressiveness on Apollo. Eventually, Biggie gets the win with the big ending, 1, 2, 3, and then Biggie was like, yeah, don't ever think about doing that to me again. Don't disrespect me like that. So, Biggie successfully defends the IC title, right? I still think Biggie's gonna have one more match with Sami Zayn, right? Sami Zayn was in the Gauntlet match tonight, which we'll get to in just a couple minutes, but Sami Zayn clearly didn't win the match. I still think we're probably gonna get one more match with Sami Zayn and Biggie tomorrow, or not tomorrow, probably at the Rumble between these two for the IC title, or it could be in the next couple weeks on SmackDown, right? That's where I think they're going. But after that, right, I want to see Biggie defend against like Cesaro, Nakamura, right? Build up Aleister Black. I'm telling you guys, if there's anybody from WWE listening to this podcast, build up Aleister Black. That guy should be a main event star. I'm going to keep saying it every single week, because there's no way he should be on SmackDown and not being used. He is too damn good to be wasted like that, right? I don't care what anybody says, but good match tonight. I don't know if this means Apollo Crews is a heel now, right? It could have just been, him being frustrated. I would like to see Apollo be heel. He's been babyface the entire time he's been on the main roster. He's been the same character all these years. Heel Apollo Crews would be interesting. I just don't know how they would do it. So if this means Apollo Crews is heel now, we'll see. Right, I don't know what to expect from it, but it's something, right? It's something. It's better than nothing for Apollo. So we'll see if this means anything, or if it's just the same old here that we've been getting for years with Apollo Crews. But yeah. Next up, we had a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler against the Street Profits. If you guys remember, Roode and Ziggler attacked the Street Profits last week when they were giving a promo that set the stage for this match tonight, right? And this was a good match. The Street Profits were serious. They weren't making their normal jokes. They took this seriously from the jump. And I just realized here that, the Street Profits have held the tag team titles since March. So 10 months, basically, they've been champions, right? They won them in early March, right before the pandemic hit. And it was kind of, it was crazy. Think about that. They've actually held both tag team titles, Raw and SmackDown, in the last year. And, like I said, the Street Profits have been developed pretty well. Even though they haven't had many people to face them, they still developed themselves into one of the best teams in the entire company. And, with the match that we got tonight, right, I didn't think Roode and Ziggler were going to win. I've been saying this for a while now, that I don't expect the Street Profits to lose those titles to any other team but the Usos. Because, once Jimmy comes back, it would make sense, right? Roman's the Universal Champion. What do you want to have, that whole tribal chief faction with Roman, holding the Universal Championship, and the Usos holding the tag titles, cementing the dominance that they have, right, over SmackDown. But, with the match we got tonight, it was a really good competitive match, and we all knew this, right? Roode and Ziggler, even though they're never booked correctly, and they've been, you can kind of say they've been failures because of the way they've been booked over the last couple of years, but they're still really good in the ring. And the Street Profits, they almost always bring it in the ring. I love the Street Profits, but the big thing here is Roode and Ziggler did a fantastic job of isolating Montez Ford from Angelo Dawkins. Anytime Angelo Dawkins would try to help Montez Ford out, they would take Angelo Dawkins out because they know he's the power of the team. So Angelo Dawkins got taken out here near the end of the match, and Ford did everything, right, as the babyface to try to, kick out and kick out and kick out of everything Roode and Ziggler threw at him. But eventually, it wasn't enough, right? He couldn't handle it. He got hit with, I forget, it was like a finisher. It was some kind of double team combo finisher. And then Roode and Ziggler were able to make the pin and get the win. So Rude and Ziggler are the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I believe they held the Raw Tag Team Championships last year as well. I may be wrong. I may be thinking of Robert Roode and Chad Gable, but I think Rude and Ziggler did hold the Raw Tag Team Championships last year. So good for them, right? I was shocked. Like I said, I was shocked. The reason that I could give for this is that we're going to get, and of course, I expect the Street Profits to probably win those titles back. Maybe at the Rumble, maybe after that. But I think the Street Profits will eventually win those titles. I feel like this is WWE's way of continuing the feud. And I don't like when WWE does that, right? Because it's WWE's fault that their tag team division is so bad, right? It's WWE's fault for not having, enough tag teams. WWE has themselves to blame. It's not the Street Profits' fault. It's not the New Day's fault, right? It's WWE's fault for breaking up tag teams over and over and over again. Teams like Heavy Machinery, right? Releasing teams like AOP and, Gallows and Anderson. That's WWE's fault, So now you ended the Street Profits' long tag team title reign just to continue this feud with Rude and Ziggler. I don't expect Rude and Ziggler to hold those titles for very long. The Street Profits are going to win those titles back. There's no other teams in the division, right? I feel like going to WrestleMania, your big SmackDown Tag Team title match is going to be the Usos versus the Street Profits. I'm still thinking, that's the big feud that you got to do for the SmackDown Tag Team division. It kind of sucks because, I felt like it would have been a bigger moment having the Usos take those titles off the Street Profits. Because at the end of the day, Rude and Ziggler, I don't see them holding those titles for a long time. The Usos went, if the Usos were built up to take those titles from the Street Profits, it would be a much bigger deal, I believe. But let me know what you guys thought. Are you guys happy that Rude and Ziggler won the titles tonight? What was your thoughts on that? But I'm gonna be honest, I don't see Rude and Ziggler holding those titles for long. I feel like the Street Profits are gonna win those titles back, sometime in the next couple months before Mania. And if Jimmy Uso is healthy, right, I think going to WrestleMania, we're gonna get the Usos versus the Street Profits, which should, of course, be a banger of feud. So next up, right, getting into the Gauntlet match, right? Like I said, there wasn't much on tonight's show, but they did a good job of giving us a good show and not forcing too much down our throats. Like I said, I still wish SASHA was on the show tonight, but it's whatever. So getting to the Gauntlet match, right, this started with around 9:15, with about 45 minutes left in the show, and first two were Rey Mysterio and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn had a camera crew with him because he wants to film like a documentary, right? Because he believes there's a conspiracy against him. Kind of funny, what's going on with that. But yeah, he wants to film this conspiracy that's going on with him in WWE. So basically, Sami Zayn got kicked out of the match very quick because, he was talking to his camera crew and the bell rang. Rey Mysterio took advantage, hit him with a 619 and then the splash and made the pin in like less than, I think it was like 30 seconds, This, it's whatever. Like I said, I think Sami Zayn's being put right back in a feud with Big E. I think, that's going to continue here. And yeah, that's what I expect. Nothing big here for Sami Zayn, right? Like I said, when Rey Mysterio started the match, like I said, I was concerned because he was really the only person I could see winning this match outside of Daniel Bryan because he's a babyface. Sami Zayn, Nakamura, Baron Corbin, they're all heels, and Roman's a heel. So when I saw Rey Mysterio start this match, I was like, oh, right, no way Rey Mysterio lasts to the end here. So I was already getting nervous that they were going to potentially have Daniel Bryan win this match. So after Sami Zayn, Nakamura came out, and I'm happy for Nakamura. This tonight was the best, and we know that WWE Gauntlet matches have done wonders for some people's careers. Kofi Kingston is the biggest, right, example that comes to mind. What happened with him last year, or no, 2 years ago now. It's kind of funny. It's already been 2 years since Kofi Mania, but yeah, Kofi. What happened with him in that Gauntlet match from 2 years ago, and then what happened, like, what was it, 3 years ago with Seth Rollins in the Gauntlet match? That one from Monday Night Raw where he like defeated John Cena and Roman, and he wrestled for like over an hour, right? So, uh, Nakamura was the MVP of the Gauntlet match. He made it all the way to the end, and I don't know if they're turning him babyface. I would love to see Nakamura be babyface again, right? I feel like turning Nakamura heel for that feud against AJ Styles a couple of years back, I think it was 3 years ago. I feel like that was one of the worst things that WWE has ever done with Shinsuke Nakamura. That was honestly the moment where they ruined him. Nakamura should have never turned heel. If you go back to NXT Nakamura, this reminded me of that, what we saw tonight. And I'm hoping this means that Nakamura is going to get a push and be put back into that main event scene where he belongs. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy Nakamura and Cesaro as a tag team, but we all know Nakamura is a natural babyface who should be in the main event scene fighting for world titles. He should have never been turned heel to begin with. So I'm hoping after what we saw tonight, this does mean that Nakamura going forward will be in the main event scene and hopefully back as a babyface, right? Because we all know how good NXT babyface Nakamura was. And I hope that's what they're trying with what we saw tonight. So Nakamura came out, and him and Rey Mysterio had a competitive match. He did eliminate Rey Mysterio with an armbar. So that's how Mysterio got eliminated. Then Baron Corbin came out, and Baron Corbin and Nakamura had a competitive match, right? Like I said, I'm speeding through this because it was just whatever, right? If it was a good gauntlet match, it's just nothing crazy happened here. Baron Corbin went for like a baseball slide, right? His usual baseball slide outside the ring. He came back into the ring and ran right into a SASHA, and Nakamura gets his second straight gauntlet victory. So the big one, of course, after that was Daniel Bryan. And if it wasn't for the addition of Adam Pearce here on tonight's show, this would have been the last match of the gauntlet. And of course, I was very concerned here because we all knew Adam Pearce was there, but I was thinking, of course, about Daniel Bryan. But Nakamura and Daniel Bryan, they went at it for good 10 minutes. This was really, really good. This was easily the best part of the gauntlet match. We know Nakamura and Daniel Bryan are two of the best in the world. I don't have to say anything about that. And what happened here, right? Nakamura, who had been wrestling for, I believe, 30 to 40 minutes at this point, Nakamura hit Daniel Bryan with a SASHA here and, got the pin on Daniel Bryan. So this was really good. Like I said, I really enjoyed this, and I was shocked. Usually I don't like seeing Daniel Bryan lose because you guys know I'm a fan of him, but this was perfect here. This was perfect because we don't want Daniel Bryan in the Universal title scene going to the Rumble. We want Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble and then go on to beat Roman at Mania. That's what we all want. And if you don't want that, then I believe you're not a fan of wrestling, because everyone knows that's where WWE should be heading. But like I said, this was a really good gauntlet match for the most part, of course, and Bryan versus Nakamura was the best part. Clearly, Bryan versus Roman hopefully still is the plan for Mania. So, like I said, I was happy for Nakamura, for him getting gold to shine, and I hope this means big things for Nakamura going forward. I did not like how they did him dirty here at the end. So, of course, we all knew that Adam Pearce was the last guy. So, what happened is Roman came out before Adam Pearce, and then we came back from commercial break, and Adam Pearce was out there looking like a complete jobber, right? He was out there in like a freaking WWE tracksuit that was open, right? And he was wearing gray sweatpants and sneakers. So we were like, ugh, what the hell? So what happened here, Roman and Jey Uso beat up on Nakamura, who had been wrestling, of course, for close to 40 minutes at this point. So they took him out very, very quickly. They hit him with Superman punch, the Uso splash, just to put the nail in the coffin, because Nakamura had already been, very injured and very tired from what, he had already gone throughout the gauntlet match. So basically, Adam Pearce is like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, really? Are we really doing this? And Roman wanted to make this as a statement to Adam Pearce, like, this is my show. I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of the table. I'm the guy in charge. not you. That was the whole point here with what they did at the end. Roman wanted to make a statement to Adam Pearce by putting him in the gauntlet match and taking control of the finale of the gauntlet match. Like I said, I don't like how Nakamura got done dirty there, right? But hopefully this means bigger things for Nakamura, and hopefully this means Nakamura will be pushed back into the main event scene where he should have been the last 3 years, right? But Roman then threw Adam Pearce into the ring, hit him with like a Superman punch, and then he manipulated the referee into calling for the bell, and then he threw Adam Pearce onto Shinsuke Nakamura. The ref had no choice but to make the pin, and yeah, so the show ended with Corey Graves and Michael Cole shocked that Adam Pearce had won the gauntlet match and announcing that it would be Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at the Rumble, right? Like I said, clearly that's not going to be the match. Everybody in their right mind knows that is not a match anybody wants to see. Where this is most likely leading to, of course, is I'm expecting Kevin Owens to make a return here in the next couple of weeks, and he'll be the guy to take Adam Pearce's spot. I don't know how they're going to do it, right? Maybe Adam Pearce fakes an injury and says he can't compete at the Rumble, and KO will be like the last minute addition. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I do think this is leading to one more final match with KO and Roman. And like I said, I have no problem with it because it's been a really good story to this point. Yes, I'm disappointed that I'm disappointed that KO's not going to be the champion at the end of the day. But, still, I hope there's bigger things set in stone for Kevin Owens going down the line. And I'm happy that, he's being put in this big program with Roman Reigns. But yeah, that's what I think. Don't worry, you casual idiots. Do not think I don't think we're getting Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns. I think this is leading to Kevin Owens returning and him being the guy to challenge Roman Reigns at the Rumble to put an end to their feud. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, right? What was your favorite part of the gauntlet match? Let me know about that. But other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today on the podcast, right? SmackDown was a good show tonight. Like I said, I'll say it one more time. I was disappointed, of course, not getting to see the best in the world, Sasha Banks, on the show. But either way, SmackDown was decent tonight. It was decent. And all I hope that they continue doing this going forward, because SmackDown's been on a pretty good track this last month. And I hope they can continue that going to the Rumble, going to the WrestleMania season, and beyond throughout the entire year. So, yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the show tonight. It wasn't perfect, if I say that, but it was a decent show, and it's 100 times better than anything we're getting on Monday Night Raw these days. Roman and Sasha continue to be the faces of SmackDown, doing their job, even though Sasha's, and that's how somebody means a lot to the show, right? Sasha Banks not being on SmackDown tonight, right? She wasn't on the show at all. Her not being on the show, people were talking on Twitter. People are like, where's Sasha? Where's Sasha? When somebody means a lot to the show, people talk about that. And when Sasha not being on SmackDown and people talking about it tonight shows you that, Sasha is valuable to SmackDown because people want to see her. They want to see her wrestle. They want to see her in storylines, right? Things of that nature. So we'll see what happens. I expect Sasha to be back next week. I don't expect this to be a long-term thing. I think this is a 1-week thing, and Sasha should be back on SmackDown next week. But either way, it was a decent show, even though she wasn't on it. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of SmackDown tonight. Did you guys like the show? Did you guys hate it? All that good stuff. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today, right? Make sure to stay safe and healthy, yo. Check out my Monday Night Raw review if you guys missed it already. We'll be right back here most likely on Monday with the Raw review, seeing what happens with Goldberg and Drew McIntyre. If you guys are new to the channel, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys for the love and support. I will see you guys later. Peace.